all as long as you cutting up checks, you're cutting up love.
Do you know if Eazy and Jerry ever went through hard times at Ruthless, or did they pretty much hit the ground running and it was a windstorm? They were making buku bucks until Eazy passed. Do you know if there was ever any hard times? Because obviously in Straight Outta Compton, we see Eazy selling weed and all this stuff that everybody around him said was BS. But did you know if they experienced any hard time?
Well, you know what? Hard times, I wouldn't say hard times. If you're talking about it from a financial standpoint, I don't see that. I don't see that. The first album they had was JJ Fad, platinum, Michel'le, platinum, N.W.A, platinum, Eazy E, platinum. So I don't see money being an issue, but that extra attention that you get from the FBI, from the haters, from the hood, that can put a damper in your success. So financially, I wouldn't say they had no hard times. But collectively, Cube, Arabian Prince leave. He out for soon he got for tour. Cube leaving, Dre leaving, Suge after you. Me and Jerry fall out. Come on, man. Hard times cannot always be accounted for in dollars. Just the stress of having to constantly dealing with all the extra stuff that comes along with being successful, whether it be, like I said, your boys leaving you, people think people want to kidnap you, people want to rob you, can't trust. Come on, man. Come on. You can't trust no women, can't trust no dudes. Everybody say they got your back, but is that a pat on the back or is that a knife in my back? Hey, it's a whole another situation, Doc. No, he probably how would he have to sell weed? And when he died, Jerry won a $20 million lawsuit. That really makes sense. But you got to have some things in the movie to make people give you that ups and downs, that roller coaster effect. You got to have a great antagonist. Whether you have two of them in the movie, that movie had three of them. It had me in the beginning, Suge, and then they had Jerry Heller. They had three antagonists. I had no vision. Suge won all of the money, and Dre. And Jerry was alleged, according to the movie, was screwing everybody.
Damn. Now, Arabian Prince is one that we've talked about in the past on this show, obviously, but he doesn't get talked about much when it comes to N.W.A. I don't even think he was even portrayed in Straight Outta Compton off the top of my head, but how important was Arabian Prince to the origins, the expansion, the beginnings of N.W.A.?
Arabian Prince owned all the equipment. The only person that had equipment at that time was me, Arabian Prince, and Rudy. Unknown, me, Arabian Prince, and Rudy from the Dream Team. We were the guys who invested money in equipment. Dre had gotten used to what I had of it, but nobody had the recording equipment like I did. That was the difference. I bought keyboards, drum machines, but I also bought mixing boards. I always had a studio, some kind of portable studio at my house, whether it was my first house or where I am now. Arabian Prince had the ability to create cassettes, and they were able to get a lot of the stuff done, pre-production done in his house. And he'll tell me, hey man, without me, I could have made the first album. They wasn't coming back over here. They was on some other kind of shit with me. And they went to him, and he provided the equipment, everything they needed, and did beats. Something to Dance To and Panic Zone ain't nothing but Wrecking Crew songs with Arabian Prince doing the lead. Think about it. Think about it. Okay, so that was the sound that got them initially got them attention and on the radio, but it wasn't. Then they came out with Express Yourself and some other songs, and it kind of flipped the script. They went from being a dance group to the gangster thing.
Now, do you think hip hop should have a union? And this is a question that's been asked a couple times. Do you think hip hop should have a union, and why hasn't it happened already?
Hip hop, technically, if you record for a major, in most cases, you're in the union. You
right.
May have, yeah, because one of the things when we were Sony, we had to pay union dues. We got them back later on because we weren't actually members. We didn't know we were gonna stay or not. But There was talk between Curtis Blow and KRS-One and Chuck D and some folks here on the West Coast about us joining the musician union. Okay, finding ways for DJs and rappers to be a part of the musicians union, which is only fair. But I don't know what the progress is, but it has been conversation. You know, why reinvent the wheel? You know, why reinvent the wheel? Because you got to get a lot of people together. These people already have the machine to make it happen. All you have to do is find a way to make it work. And not, but the problem with that is streaming. I would think the current state of streaming would not allow a union artist to function in a union, because you got to have so many streams to get paid. You know, nobody's going to the studio. Most cats that are programmers are not union programmers. They got union musicians, keyboard players. I'm not going to say drum DJs are not considered union. So that means those union sessions are not union sessions. So that means every guy that goes in the studio and do scratching would have to join the union. Most of those guys don't get paid enough money to pay their bills and union dues. They'd have to find a way to accommodate a DJ for going into a studio and scratching, just like they do with a guitar player, a drummer, or a keyboard player. Those sessions back in the day was like $150 per song. Or, the union had a per song or a solo rate, or it was all kind of different rates ways you got paid, and they made sure you got paid. But again, you was dealing with Sony Records or Warner Brothers, who are also union houses, and they respected the power of the union. I don't see Def Jam, I don't see Def Row, none of them labels doing that. Keeping it 100.
I have to credit this next question to Charlemagne the God, one of my radio idols, one of the best to ever do it, in my opinion. But when he was recently interviewing Curtis Blow and Chuck D, he asked this question. I was like, I got to ask Lonzo that question. What do you think hip hop lost when it went corporate, and what did it gain?
It gained a lot of money, a lot of global influence. It lost its spontaneity. What made hip hop so popular back in the day is because it was controlled by independent record producers, independent labels, and independent distributors with independent radio stations. And that little sub-conglomerate of power, I can make a record in a matter of minutes, take it to K-Day, which is the independent radio station, take it down to Associated Records or one of many local distributors, and get it all through the Chitlin circuit and other distribution